Welcome back. Well, it's December 25th, Christmas Day. What does that mean to you guys? What does that mean to me? Well, it means it is Christmas. And even when I was a Jehovah's Witness, Christmas was a big part of the year because I was always working at a company level and we usually took a week or two off. We kind of shut the business down. We just had guys on call. That's the time people took Christmas holidays and there was a giving spirit. Now, what we did in the company is we had a year end party, and our year end was November, the end of November. So it kind of looked like Christmas. So about December, by the time we got bonuses out, it looked like Christmas, but it was actually, we called it our year end. And we purposely did it like that. A lot of people, even Jehovah's Witnesses, they take holidays at Christmas time. They go skiing and they do different things. So these Christmas bonuses were very helpful. So we didn't call it that at the time, but really that's what it was. Christmas is a giving spirit. Even as a Jehovah's Witness, it's hard for them not to feel like they want to give. And when you walk into a grocery store and there's the guy from the Salvation Army jingling his bell and laughing, has a big smile, do you not want to reach into your pocket and just give him whatever's in there and throw it in there? Well, that's what we do. We walk into the grocery store and we do that. And it's a way of giving because we know that those guys are getting that money and food out to where it belongs. And we had a part this year. There's an older gentleman that lives in our neighborhood, and we had a part to go down and see what the community does for a lot of the elderly. They have hamper gift boxes, and this guy was loaded up with enough food to last him a month. So I was really impressed with the giving and the giving spirit. And I want to talk about this guy, Clement Clark Moore. Have you ever heard of him? Clement Clark Moore? Well, he was born in New York City. He was the son of a Reverend Benjamin Moore and the Charity Clark Moore. He was an only child. He was capably tutored at home by his father until he entered Columbia College, according to the biographer. And Samuel White Patterson, he graduated in 1798 at the head of his class, as his father had 30 years earlier. And in 1801, he earned his MA from Columbia University. He was awarded an LLD in 1829. And in 1813, Clement Moore married 19-year-old Catherine Elizabeth Taylor, with whom he eventually had 9 children. A very religious man, he gave a large portion of the land that he had inherited and part of his Chelsea estate, and now called Chelsea Square, to the General Theological Seminary, where he was a professor of Oriental and Greek literature from 1823 until he retired in 1850. And as his retirement, he purchased a house in Newport, Rhode Island, where he died on July 10th, 1863. So during his lifetime, Moore wrote on a variety of subjects. He produced a 2 volume a compendious lexicon of the Hebrew language, a translation from French, a complete treatise on merinos and other sheep, and the historical biography George Castrot, surnamed Sanderbeg, King of Albania. 1850. Throughout his life, he also wrote poetry, which he published in the portfolio and similar periodicals. Okay, so here's the story. Moore claimed to have been the author of A Visit from St. Nicholas, asserting that he wrote the poem for his own children and recited it to them on Christmas Eve 1822. After it was published anonymously the following year, it became increasingly popular, appearing in newspapers, school readers, other anthologies, and in different single editions. The New York Book of Poetry, 1837, an anthology of the works by New York poets, contains some written by Moore, including A Visit from St. Nicholas. And although anonymous, was still listed as the author. Not until 1844, when Moore's collection poems was published, was a visit from St. Nicholas acknowledged in print as having been written by Clement Moore, LLD. And because the poem was published anonymously and became very popular, other people tried to claim authorship. Authorship is typically attributed now to the Major Henry Livingston Jr., whose great grandson spent many years trying to establish Major Livingston as the author. And Livingston had also, excuse me, written verses for his children, but he made no written mention of a visit from St. Nicholas. And during his lifetime, nor had friends heard of his connection with the verses. They were said to have been published in a Poughkeepsie newspaper long before they appeared in the Troy Sentinel, but no copies of the paper containing the poem have ever turned up. And several magazines and newspaper articles appeared, especially during the 1940s, questioning the authorship. But scholars today give the credit to Livingston. Well, there you have it. There is the rest of the story on Clement Clark Moore. So we're going to take a look at the poem. I'm going to do my best to recite it. And here it is. It's very famous for a Christmas time poem. Okay. Well, follow along with me, and hopefully I have a few animations I can throw into this production. Okay, A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clark Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma, in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, on Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As the leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, and when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up to the chimney, he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they flew like down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night!" Ho, 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 ho! Ho, 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 ho! Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!